Hello, and welcome to another episode of Conscious and Curly, a place for the human experience. I am your host, Angelica. Welcome back. It's been a little bit of time since I've last recorded, so I've got a lot to catch up on, a lot to talk about. I appreciate you for being patient. I appreciate you. I have had people reach out to me and check up on me, check up on the podcast. I really appreciate that. I love that you're lighting a fire under me, that you're interested, that you're still listening and liking and subscribing. Do all of that. If you're listening on any podcast platform, I am also, the video of this is also available on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, you can also subscribe, follow, leave a review on any place you listen to your favorite podcasts. So let's catch up. First of all, I had a great weekend last weekend, which was very recent. And then the weekend before that, I really have had great weekends. Great balance between like family and getting things done. After 2 weeks ago, it was about 2 weeks ago, I went out that weekend. I told you Mama needed a break. I went to Austin to visit my girlfriend. And then I ended up, my weekends are all messed up, but I also ended up going out one night bar hopping. I haven't bar hopped in years. I stayed out till 2 a.m. I shut a bar down. It was very exciting. Very liberating. It was everything I needed for my little, overworked, overwhelmed mom self. And then I got sick. And I don't know if it's because I was out and doing things that I wasn't used to doing. But no, what it really was my son was sick a week before. And I was taking care of him and all up and close to him, and I got sick. So that's what happened as far as like recording. Why I haven't been recording, I was sick and I just did not have the energy, and there you have it. But in that time, lots of things happened. I told you last episode about my manifestation session. I have manifested again since then, focusing on something different, kind of like fantasizing, manifesting, creating, curating my ideal partner who would fit me right now in this space and time that I'm in, and who I would hope to grow with, or what that person looks like. That was a great session, if you care. But back to my first manifestation, that was basically really focused on finances. And about a week later, I was on a walk with my son and my mom, and found $7 on the sidewalk, like a 5, 2 ones spread away from each other. It was crazy. There was nobody outside, nobody around looking. And I took it as what I had manifested, and I knew that I had given that to myself. So that was awesome. That was one little reward and kind of affirmation, confirmation that I did something, or I at least believe I did something, and that belief is creating it. I also was looking for like a getaway, as you may be aware. If not, Mama has been needing a break. I really have been wanting to like just have a little vacation to myself and recharge. And one of my yoga students, shout out this couple, they're amazing. They had offered me their Airbnb for a very discounted price. So I am about to go on vacation down to the coast here in Texas. It's like a 2.5 hour drive from where I live, but it's still a break. It's still waves crashing on a shore that I can listen to and meditate to and just get back to myself, get back to my rootedness. On that note, I'm really excited to travel outside of the city on my own. It's not like a big travel, but it's something, and I'm excited to be alone. I have a list of things that I want to do and tackle and experience while I'm there. So yeah, I'm excited to update you guys on how that goes and where that goes. I have been trying to be more intentional with like capturing moments, taking pictures of things, because I'm really shitty at it. I had like an epiphany and realized that if my mom wasn't here in a very non-morbid way, just a very realistic way, that like my kids wouldn't have any pictures of us because she's the only one who takes pictures of me and my boys or my boys doing anything. I'm never taking pictures. I'm just in the moment. So I'm trying to do better with capturing moments as well as being in the moments, having a balance of the two. And yeah, so follow me on Instagram. I will be posting them probably on my personal page, but I may be updating my podcast page if you aren't following already. It's conscious_curly. And you can follow me there. My private, or personal, it's not private. My personal Instagram is frequency, like free queen, and then CY for frequency. Anyway, so if you want to follow me there and see what I'm up to, what I'm experiencing, feel free to do that. Either way, I'm excited. You'll hear about it on the podcast, so you don't have to follow me if you don't want to. Another update is Kingston, my oldest. He did start first grade. That was super exciting, and he's just growing up. I didn't cry this year. That made me feel good as a mom. Like, I'm not getting more used to this, maybe. I don't know. But it was great. He's doing great. He's loving it so far, and all is well. I hosted this last weekend. I hosted a sip and twist, a yoga and wine class. If you were there, shout out to you. If you weren't, you can sign up again because it was a hit, and apparently we're going to be doing it monthly. But that was also a lot. And I had like back-to-back yoga classes this weekend. That's another reason why I haven't recorded. I was sick, and then I just ended up getting busy. But the sip and twist class was a hit, like I said, and that was really awesome. And it was just a random idea I had for like a back to school week to kind of reward the parents, to kind of give us a break. And I think it did it. It was great. Yeah. And I guess that's really it for catch up. Let me think, really. Well, okay. So also this weekend, I went salsa dancing, and that was fun. I also kind of feel like that might not be my scene. Just club scenes aren't my scene. I don't like how much I sweat. I don't like how hot the heat is really my only problem. But I feel like you have to have the heat for a club to feel like you're having a good time, or maybe it's just a part of what happens when you get a bunch of people dancing in a room. But I'm not a fan of that, and I don't know. I may go salsa dancing again for sure, but maybe when I'm like prepared and ready to like sweat like that, but it just wasn't my favorite. And that's it. I guess that's it for catch up. Relaxed a lot. Family time, just regular schmegular stuff. So now we can get into our food for thought. And this food for thought actually it ties into the episode. So did you know that the color blue calls to mind feelings of calmness and serenity? Blue is often seen as a sign of stability and reliability. Businesses that want to project an image of security often utilize blue in their advertising and marketing efforts. And I just wanted to, make note of that and kind of, drop that information on you as we get into the topic, which is iPhone blue versus Android green. And you may not know what that means. You may know exactly what that means. Either way, let me break it down. If you have an iPhone, when people have iPhones, fellow iPhone users, their text bubble when they're texting in a thread shows up as green. As blue. If you have an Android and you're texting an iPhone user, your text bubble comes up as green. And if you're in a group message with a bunch of iPhone users and at least one of them has an Android, then the whole thread turns green. And that's it. That's iPhone blue versus Android green. And a lot of us know what that is. Again, maybe some of us don't know what that is. I have thought it's interesting and I've become hyper aware to, the conversation of iPhone blue versus Android green, the true effect of iPhone blue versus Android green, because earlier this year I switched. I used to have an iPhone years ago. I'd say, yeah, damn, that's so crazy to think that 2010 was 12 years ago. But yeah, it was probably 2010 era. Ugh. Anyway, sorry. Time makes me feel old and that's just a gross feeling. But I used to have an iPhone and I went to an Android and had an Android for years. I've had an Android ever since. And recently we just went back from Android to iPhone because I really switch based on camera. Before in 2010, I really liked Android's camera. They had a better camera than iPhone. It wasn't long after that iPhone really got a compatible, if not better, camera quality, but I just stuck with Android and liked it until I didn't like it anymore. And then I switched back and really liked iPhone's camera. So that's really my determining factor. Not only as this last time, it wasn't only the camera functionality, it also was multitasking functionality and being information transferring seamlessly between different applications or being able to run different applications easily at the same time, different things like that. I knew I was going to be venturing into trying to do a podcast or trying to do more for myself, and I just wanted that. So long story short, I switched from Android to iPhone. When I made this switch, I quickly observed how many acknowledgments or comments were made from fellow iPhone user friends when they realized my text bubble had changed from green to blue because now I'm a fellow iPhone user. Multiple people made it a point to tell me whoa, you're blue now, or oh, I'm so glad you got an iPhone, just different things. I also noticed a lot of my friends with iPhones were just engaging in conversation more with me. And I totally understand it. When you look at it and think about it, it makes sense. iPhone has made engagement between iPhone users. You just have more options. You can react and respond to specific messages. You can reply to specific messages. That's really it. It's just a little more, but that little bit more totally feeds people's desire to communicate with fellow iPhone users. And I just noticed this real quick from my drastic change from going from an Android to an iPhone. I just noticed all this engagement, and I noticed how much more people were speaking to me, let alone just commenting on the fact that I got an iPhone. It was just really interesting to me. So in making this observation, I just started kind of making note, doing more research, and just realizing how connected and how strategic, how connected we as consumers are to this strategic marketing ploy that Apple has done with simply having this blue. And the reason I pointed in the food for thought to how certain colors, there's a true psychology to colors, and certain colors really do bring about different emotions and really do make you feel a certain way, or you do associate certain feelings, emotions, verbs, actions with these with these colors. So I wanted to make a note of that blue because I had looked into transcendental meditation a couple years ago, and they use the exact same blue that iPhone's text bubble is. And they let you know in transcendental meditation that they use this blue because of the calmness and serenity and tranquility that blue taps into in our brain. And I remember from then the psychology and just learning then the psychology of colors and how deep it can be. And then realizing iPhone is using the exact same psychology, because really it wouldn't take much to just not even change the color between Android and iPhone. They really wanted to add an uncomfortability when communicating with Android users for some iPhone users. And people really are falling into this. When I used to be on a dating app, I used to be on Hinge, and there was a guy on Hinge. They give you different blurbs. To build a profile, to talk about yourself. So they give you blurbs about, like, I don't know, a common thing people think about me is, and you go and you say something, or my mom's favorite part about me is, and you say something, which is quirky little blurbs. One of them is a quick rant about, and this guy said he decided to choose his rant about green messages. Quote, "It's 2022 and people still have green messages. What TF, the fuck, kind of toxic ass sorcery is this?" All caps. "Fix it, damn it. Stop ruining group chats." End quote. And I screenshotted this probably a year ago when I was on the dating app, because I, again, I was so impressed with how much iPhone has gotten us to play a part in this strategic marketing. And I also was just so flabbergasted at how many of us are playing a part and just marching in this role as consumers because of a marketing strategy that they have used. Like, they definitely, businesses hire psychologists for this reason, so that they can get people to truly feel emotionally connected to the product. And it's just so interesting to me. And I'm hyper aware because I made the switch, but I'm just hyper aware to how color alone has attached so many emotions to it for so many people. So I just wanted to, just bring awareness and give you something to think about. If you ever maybe notice anytime you make comments about blue messages or green messages, notice anytime you're feeling any type of way about the color of a text bubble. If that's truly like garnering up some emotions in you, just kind of notice that and know that you have control over that. And you can at least be aware and not play as much of a role as play more than a role than you want to. At the end of the day, like, we have so much control over ourselves, and I just want to remind us of that. And I just want to give the power of ourselves, all aspects of ourselves, including our emotions and our feelings, back to us. And I'm not saying you can't not feel a way about like a color, because like I said, there's a true psychology to it. And naturally it's that way. But you can, when you're feeling that way, be aware of why you feel that way and not play the role of, I feel this way because iPhone is better than Android, or I feel a way because this color truly hurts me and makes me I really am angry that people are not using the same phone as me. Know that that's not the reason, and know that it's simply the color, and the color is just associated to a part of your brain that feels those emotions. And that's really it. I just wanted to bring awareness and let you know that there's manipulation everywhere, and we have control over ourselves always. And as long as we have control over ourselves, our mind, we will always be free. And I want you to always be free. So who cares about iPhone blue and Android green? And that's really it. That's really all I had for the topic, at least, to talk about. Feel free to write me in if I enlightened you, if this is something you didn't even notice, if maybe you want to confess and be like, yo, I do have feelings towards that, and I didn't even realize that was why. Or if you really feel like, man, F those Android users or F those iPhone users. I mean, feel free to comment, let me know. I do want to note that Android does not change the color of the text. All text messages are, well, I mean, it's customizable, which is another reason why people prefer Android. But it's whatever color either you set, or it's always, I don't know. I had mine green, but green's my favorite color, so I don't know if I set it as that or if that was the standard. Either way, it's a default standard and everybody's the same, and you don't know if you're texting an iPhone or an Android. And I really respect Android for that. Even though I'm an iPhone user, props to them for not manipulating us, at least so obviously in that way. I'm sure there's some deep-rooted in the commercials or whatever, some type of manipulation. But yeah, that's what I have to say about iPhone blue versus Android green. Again, feel free to comment, leave me a review, let me know what you're thinking, what your thoughts are on that. And yeah, let's get into our one of our last segments, Anonymously Kinky. Unfortunately, I have no questions this week. Nobody wrote me, nobody asked me anything. So if you do have a question, want to submit a question, you can follow me at @conscious_curly on Instagram and DM me, and I'll keep you anonymous. Pinky swear. And for questions, I also don't have any questions this week. If you have any questions about the podcast, life, anything at all, feel free to write me at email me, askconsciousandcurly, all spelled out, @gmail.com. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Short and sweet, I guess, and to the point. I will be back next week, fingers crossed, with another episode. Either way, I will be back, period. I'll be back with another episode. I'll leave it at that. You guys can choose to set an expectation on time or just be open to whenever. Either way, I love hearing that you're missing the podcast because, again, it lights a fire under me. I love interacting with you. Feel free to reach out to me on any of the platforms I mentioned in the show. They will also be in the description box below or in the description box that you're listening to. And I guess that's it for this week. You guys have a great week. Until next time, be safe. Peace.